let's look at Professor X again. All right, now this is the entire blood supply of the whole brainstem. I have removed all the extra arteries and capillaries, so we can only focus on the relevant ones and we get the best view as well. So let's zoom in, and before I start naming them, I'm just going to trace out all the main arteries first, and then we can get into the branches and where they're coming from. So let's start with the main arteries. Let's grab a pen. So we already studied from the spinal cord blood supply that these were the vertebral arteries coming here, and this was the vertebral arteries coming here, and they join upward. But before they join, they form these two branches from each, which combine and runs down the front of the spinal cord. So we know the front of the spinal cord was supplied by the anterior spinal artery, and that's where these were coming out of. They were coming out of these vertebral arteries. So that's the first thing you need to know. Now let's complete the rest of the circuit. Let's exit this and zoom in. Now these two vertebral, oh, let's grab a pen first, or else it starts rotating. So we know these were vertebral arteries coming up, and here they will merge into one, and this little section here, this single artery here, this is called basilar artery. Right? Remember how we studied this groove in the pons, and that was called basilar groove, and that was for the basilar artery. So now you can see that's where the basilar artery is living. So again, these were the two vertebral arteries coming up, and these were starting from where? You know where. I'm not going to name that main artery which we're giving off the vertebral arteries. So vertebral arteries came up, they joined together, and they gave the basilar artery. And before they joined, they formed the anterior spinal artery, which was going to run down all the way in front of the whole spinal cord. Right? Now we know three names. We know the name of this one, we know the name of these, and now we know the name of where it combines and forms the basilar artery. Right? Now let's look higher up. Now we know the basilar artery will divide into two. One will go to one side and the other will go to the other side, and these will be called the posterior cerebral artery. Right? Let's double check that as well. Yeah, posterior cerebral artery. Now before we go any forwards, there's one thing I need to clarify, and this is something that confuses a lot of students. It's basically two terminologies. One is cerebral, that is related to the cerebral cortex of the brain, right? And one is cerebellar, and that's the balloons behind the brainstem, this and this. So this is cerebellar, and the cerebral cortex or anything superficially to the brain would be cerebral. So these sound very same, and these only have small difference in their spellings, and these can be easily confused. So a lot of students confuse this. You need to understand cerebral is related to the cerebral cortex, cerebellar is that cerebellar, the balloons behind the brainstem, right? Let's go back to Professor X. So we know this basilar artery was turning into what? Posterior cerebral artery, right? Because it's going to be supplying the brain above it, and it's going backwards. So the brain section above it and at the back is going to be supplying that area because it's originating from here and it's going posteriorly. So it's called posterior cerebral artery. Now we know four names. We know the name of, where's my marker? We know the name of this. We know the name of this one, the main one. We know the name of this. And now we know the name of this as well. It's going to go posteriorly into the brain. All right. So now we know the names of all the main ones, all the main blood vessels that will supply the brainstem. There's another important name you need to know, but just know the name. This thick one right here, this is the internal carotid. It does not directly supply any blood supply to the brainstem. It has just one single connection, one very, very tiny artery, and that is why I have left one internal carotid here, and I've removed the other side, but just for your reference, I've left that there. Now, let's look at the smaller branches. Now, the medulla area, this is the medulla area, correct? Now we will obviously need to see all the blood supplies that are supplying this medulla, and we will along this we will name all the smaller branches as well. So we know the name of this, we know the name of this, in this medulla area, and we know the name of this. Now, there is one artery that we haven't labeled yet, and I will leave it unmarked for just 1 second so you can try to spot it. Which artery in this square do you think we left behind? So it's this branch, right? And as you can see, where is it going? It's going to supply what organ? The cerebellar organ, right? It's supplying the inferior side of the cerebellar, right? So what would it be called? This will be called the inferior cerebellar artery. Now, as you go up, there's another inferior cerebellar artery. I'll pick another color. Let's do yellow. So there's another one that's coming out. It is supplying the inferior side of the cerebellar, right? So both of these are inferior cerebellar, but the purple one, let's pick purple. The purple one is posterior cerebellar. So it's posterior cerebellar, inferior cerebellar, so posterior inferior cerebellar artery, right? Because it's going posteriorly, but both of these are supplying the inferior cerebellar area. So these will be both of these are inferior cerebellar artery. The only difference is one is posteriorly and the yellow one is anteriorly. So what would be the name of these? Let me just write them down. Take green. So what's the antonym? Is it antonym? What's the antonym of this? So what's the acronym of posterior inferior cerebellar artery? It's PICA, right? So posterior inferior cerebellar artery. So PICA is also supplying or branching out from a vertebral artery, right? And the other one was the other inferior cerebellar artery was called the anterior one. So it would be the anterior inferior cerebellar artery. And what do you think is the acronym of this? It's ICA, right? Now let's go over this again. Let's grab a pen. Let's go ahead with green. We know the name of this now. We know the name of these two. We know the name of this. We know it's two divisions on top. We now know the two inferior cerebellar artery. We know there's the posterior one and this is the anterior one. Both of them are supplying the bottom part, the inferior part of the cerebellar, but one is located more anteriorly, the other is located more posteriorly. So these are given two different names, the posterior PICA and the anterior ICA. All right, so we now know two more branches. Let's move on to other branches. Let's go higher. We've done everything below this point. Now, what are these little capillaries coming out of this? These are the pontine arteries. Let me just highlight one. Pontine artery. So they are coming out of the basilar artery. And what structure do you think they're lying on top of? That's the pons, hence the pontine arteries. So they will be supplying the pons, right? Now let's go higher. Let's look at this angle, right? Let's grab a pen, make it yellow this time. So we know the name of this one, but it's giving off this structure as well. And let's zoom out and see where this artery is going. We're going to be talking about this one, right? So let's zoom out and see where it is going. I will try to x-ray it as well. Now, I changed the color so it's more obvious. It's supplying the cerebellar again, but this time it's supplying the superior part of it, right? So this will be called what? Superior cerebellar artery. But there is only one. There is no anterior or posterior in this section. So it's just one. It's the superior cerebellar artery. On the contrary, there were two inferior ones, right? One was anterior, one was posterior. So we called it ICA and PICA. And they were both inferiorly. But superiorly, there is only one. And that's the superior cerebellar artery, right here. As you can see, all the superior aspects of the cerebellar organ. So we now know another branch. The last branch is the tiny one I mentioned in the start. It's the posterior communicating artery, this one. It's just a tiny connection between the system that we are studying. It's just a tiny connection between the posterior cerebellar artery and the internal carotid. Now let me highlight that. We're studying this vessel. This is a tiny connection. It's just hanging in the air. It's not anywhere near the brainstem, but it's a connection. So this was the posterior cerebral artery, and this was the internal carotid. The internal carotid is very different. It's not even supplying the brainstem. It's running in different structures. But there's a tiny branch between these two, and it's the posterior communicating artery. It's communicating between two different structures. So it's the communicating artery, and it's at the posterior end of the circle of Willis, which will come later, which is something that supplies the brain. So that's the posterior communicating artery, right? Now, let's look at it again before we go towards the table. Let's get this angle. Let's grab a pen. Yellow is fine. So we know the name of this structure. We know the name of these two now. We know they join together to make something. Now let's look at these smaller arteries. We know the name of this branch is also running inferiorly. We know the name of this branch is also covering the inferior area of the cerebellar. We know the names of these branches. And now we know the name of this main branch, and then this main branch is giving off two other arteries. This one that I highlighted earlier, that's supplying the superior region, and then there's this communicating artery. So now this is the entire blood supply of the brainstem. Going back to our notes, I have compiled a table for you that will have all the structures, all the arteries and the areas it supply. So I converted Professor X's blood supply into a 2D diagram, and this is what it looks like. And you can screenshot this before I've labeled it, and then you can note it down later as well after I label it. So let's pick a nice color. So let's go with this one. I'm gonna, the bold arteries are all the main arteries, the bigger arteries, and the other ones are all the smaller arteries. So let's start naming the bigger ones first. So where's my pen? So let's start with this. This is the vertebral artery, and then both of them go up and combine into basilar artery, and then basilar artery goes further up and divides into two to be called posterior cerebral artery, right? And now this one is the internal carotid that's doing its own blood supply to other structures. There's just this tiny communicating branch in the middle. Apart from, if there was no communicating branch, we don't even need to be worried about this carotid artery. So now let's go back and start naming the smaller branches in a different color. So let's go with the yellow, golden. Let's go with golden. So we know this was the anterior. Yellow doesn't really look nice, so let's just change color. Let's go with green, is more obvious. All right, so this one was the anterior spinal artery, and we know it was coming from both the vertebral arteries. The vertebral artery also gave the pica, which was the posterior inferior cerebellar artery, right? And then when the vertebral artery merged together to make basilar artery, right after it merged together to make basilar artery, it gave another branch called ica. That's the anterior part of the inferior cerebellar artery. So ica and pica both are inferior cerebellar artery, but one is posteriorly and one is anteriorly. So that's pica and ica. Another thing on this is the pontine arteries. They're coming like this, 3 of them on both sides. They're coming out of the basilar artery. So let's name them as well. These were the pontine arteries. Right now, as we go up, it's going to give off another branch before it converts into posterior cerebral artery, and these were the SCA. So these were the superior cerebellar artery. So in this whole section, as you can see, there are 3 cerebellar arteries. So the pica, the ica, and the SCA, the superior cerebellar artery. And there is only one cerebral artery. That's the posterior artery. Right. So let's name the rest of them as well. So I think we're already done, but just one is left. But this is the posterior communicating artery. That's it. It's communicating between 2 different circles. So it's communicating, but it's located posteriorly in the brain, in all these blood supply structures. So it's called posteriorly. This is the entire blood supply of the brainstem. Now, if we need to look at the different sections, for example, if the question asks you which arteries specifically supply the medulla, you can look at all those in the on Professor X as well. For example, let's highlight the medulla, and that will automatically give you your answer. So this is the outline of the medulla, and all the arteries that are coming in this square are basically the blood supply of the medulla. So we know vertebral artery is going to supply it, anterior spinal artery is going to supply some parts, and this pica is also going to supply some parts of the medulla. So that's it. There's your answer to a whole heavy question. What is the blood supply of medulla alone? So if you draw a structure, and then you draw a square, and that these 3 arteries that are coming inside this square is the entire blood supply of the medulla. Right? Now the question says, what is the blood supply of pons? So you are going to draw a structure around pons, a square around pons. Let's pick a different color. Let's go with yellow. So we know the pons is outlined like this. So all the arteries coming inside this circle, the square, is the blood supply of pons. So we know the ICA is going to supply the pons, the basilar artery is going to supply pons, the pontine arteries are going to supply pons, and the SCA right here is going to supply the pons. So these 4 arteries are basically the blood supply of pons. Now let's look at medulla. Let's get the best angle. So this should be the best angle. Let's get a marker and create an outline. So right, so this is the midbrain, and everything coming inside that outline is the blood supply of the midbrain. So number 1 would be the main one, that's the posterior cerebral artery. The second one is the SCA, that's the superior cerebellar artery, and the third one is the communicating branch. This one, that's the posterior communicating branch. So these 3 are the blood supply of the midbrain. You might have already noticed that SCA is supplying 2 organs. So that's the only one that's going to be covering 2 organs. So it also supplies pons and it also supplies the midbrain. So that's the only one that's playing in 2 teams. So going back to our notes, I've compiled a table for you. Here you go. So these are the different different divisions of the blood supply of different parts of the brainstem. So we already studied medulla will be supplied by the anterior spinal artery, the pica, and the vertebral artery in that square we drew. The pons is by 4 arteries, so that's the basilar and the small pontine arteries, the ICA and the SCA. Midbrain is also supplied by SCA, and the main one is the posterior cerebral artery, and the small branches, the communicating branches. All right, so you can take a screenshot and note these down as well. This is the perfect division of all the blood supply of the brainstem, and we are done with point number 2.